Looking at mobile home parks, it's the only real estate commercial vehicle that you can actually make 20% cash on cash return day one. You know, Eminem lived in 8 Mile trailer park and somebody bought it a year or so ago for $4 million. They got close to $150,000 a year in net income. And then I increased the value of that park, or my net worth, about a few million bucks. I was actually watching the show. It was a mobile home park in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. These reality shows don't do it justice because
This is the Mobile Home Investing Show with Walter Johnson, powered by Sonos Capital.
I'm the CEO and founder of Sonos Capital. So we actually have a 506, a private equity fund that we invest our investors' capital into mobile home parks. I'd say about 13 states, but usually they're landlord-friendly states. So we buy about mid to large size mobile home parks across the U.S. Yeah, I would say my motivational quote at this moment would be the change you want to see. And the reason why I like that is because we can actually say what's wrong with the world or society or real estate or tech or AI, but let's look at each other. And if we want to see a change, be the change. You know, just being in investing for about 20 years now, we can all say, you know, real estate's real estate. But what really prompted me to actually buy mobile home parks and continue to actually help other investors as well was that not all real estate investing is the same. I like cash flow. I like to take a property, put new homes into it, change it aesthetically, increase the value. I bought single family homes or condos or land. You buy it, you hope that it actually goes up. I don't think that's a great strategy for real estate investment. So I like to actually have cash flow to where it comes in every month. And I like to actually have the ability to increase the value at the same time. Yeah, so force appreciation, typically a mobile home park has about 30 to 35% expense ratio or higher than that. But let's just take a mobile home park right now. Well, you'll see an owner that has below market rents and their expense ratio could be 50, 55, even 60%. So you're able to actually decrease those expenses by half and at the same time increase the rents. Let's just say a 100 space park and it's 80% occupied. So we have about 80 people paying space rent. So let's say January 1st, 2025, you raise the rent $50. So 50 times 80, right, about 40, 45, 48,000, excuse me. And then, because it's times 12, once you actually have that, you divide that by, let's say, a 6 cap. So you can do that for about 3 years. Now you increase that income or the value of that park about 2.5 million, but you increase that revenue about 100 and some $100,000, $140,000 a year. So one, I got close to $150,000 a year in net income. And then I increased the value of that park, or my net worth, about a few million bucks. So I definitely like that aspect of mobile home parks and how you're able to scale value and income. I do my own underwriting. So when you look at a park, so at a 100 space park, 60% occupied, you look at the numbers. Can I actually bring in homes? And let's just say you want to bring in 20 homes over the next 3 years. Can that park support that traffic and people actually buying homes, becoming homeowners? And that's one of the things I look at. So I look at population, I look at employment, I look at the traffic on the park, and we put out advertisements, some testers. So we do that through Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, Facebook, Zillow, even the MLS. And so we get this traffic and we test that out during our due diligence phases. The environment is competitive is because a lot of multifamilies, I think, hit this plateau, of course. We're starting to see it backtrack a little bit, but mobile home park still has a ton of steam to go. Yes, there is competition, but there's still some great opportunities out there. So what we look for, I would say our goal is probably about 1,100 spaces per year. So 6 parks could mean 2 parks. It all depends on how big the park is. Right now, we're actually looking at here in Arizona, I think it's 480 spaces. And then we close on one actually next Tuesday. So we're very active. That's actually our kind of our buy box there, our buy box goal. How we target landlord states, and let's say in New York. And I'm not picking on them, and it's going to be doing really well. But I just want to share an example. So if you actually look at New York, you only increase the rents 5% per year. right?
Mhm.
Yeah, last time I read, but inflation is more than 5%. So your expenses and because whoever works on your properties, labor costs, your traveling costs, everything is actually above the 5%. But if you can only survive at 5% for an annual rent increase, you're actually losing money. And that's actually what happened in the 70s in New York. So it's kind of history repeats itself. The government did something similar. You actually see in the developers or the real estate investors that actually own those, let's say, high rises and investment properties, they couldn't increase their rents to actually just keep up with inflation. And so what essentially happens, they become slumlords because the property goes into disarray. So I hope that that actually doesn't happen because I don't want to see investors lose money. I like when people actually make money because people are excited and creates this synergy. But unfortunately, if things keep going the way they are, I think history is definitely going to repeat itself. So we like to actually invest in landlord-friendly states. I'd say about 90% of our deals are off market. I'd say a little bit above 90%. We source our own deals. I think
Mhm.
that's actually the best route to go. We do have a few relationships with brokers, but for the most part, we're sourcing our own deals. So remember back in the 70s, you see them like an apartment building, and then let's say it was like a 20 unit apartment building, and you actually had the
Mhm.
manager that lived in one of the units, and then you paid rent. So you knocked on their doors like, hey, here's my rent. So the manager actually managed that property on site. So you just manage the manager, usually pay them a couple $1,000 a month, like 2,000, 2,500 bucks. So let's say they're making $30,000 a year and they get free rent. So it's a great opportunity for managers as well. I would say the stigma, the people. I was actually watching the show over the weekend. Welcome to Water Manor. It was a mobile home park in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Right. And it was a reality show, so of course they make it, the dramatics.
The people are really
Of
cool.
course.
It's a community. It's fun, but it still has a stigma. It's these reality shows don't do it justice. If you actually look at Eminem, he lived in 8 Mile trailer park, and if you actually look at that, it's like a suburb. It's not that bad. Somebody bought it a year or so ago for $4 million, so it's actually a good park. Everyone's different as far as real estate investment. Some people actually want to get 500 or 1,000 bucks a month in cash flow. Or someone wants to buy a house and, hey, I actually want to buy this house because in 15, 20 years, my kids are actually going to be out of school, or this is going to be their kids' college funds, or we're going to sell it and give it to our children and let them actually have a head start in life. So it's all different. Mine, I would recommend if you're actually into real estate, I would strongly recommend just looking at mobile home parks. And the reason being is because it throws off cash. It's the only real estate commercial vehicle that you can actually make 20% cash on cash return and above 20% cash on cash return day one. That's really difficult to do in single family homes. Apartment buildings is tough. So if someone's, hey, you know what? I just want to make my goal, replace my job. Let's say they make $120,000 a year. Just buy one or two mobile home parks and make $10,000 a month in cash flow. And it just replaced your job. That's actually how it works. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I wouldn't say real estate investment. I would say investment actually, or even just getting rich or wealthy. It's a How to Get Rich by Felix Dennis. That was not about how to get rich. There's no instruction in there. He talks actually about the journey of getting rich. I think he was like one of the richest British individuals, but he talks about the pains and the doubts and the
Mhm.
pitfalls and the temptations and like learning that before you actually try to go to the next level, try to get wealthy. I think that's actually important because at least you're prepared. So if you actually have stumbling blocks or obstacles, you're like, this is actually normal. If you actually have some delays, if you actually have some, you know what, I made 200 grand, let me actually go buy a new car or a vacation to resist those type of temptations that keep going. I have a things to do. I've been doing that things to do. A friend of mine actually told me about it.
That's the thing to do.
It actually has a date and it has the day and the date. And I just write that. I've been using it since 2005, I would say. And so
Okay.
when I was actually a mortgage broker, before I had it, my income was this, and I started putting these things to do, and I use that every single
Yep.
day. And literally, my income doubled just because I was able to write down things to do, look at it,
Nice.
tackle it, and then move to the next item. So I use that. That's actually a very simple task that helps me. I bought a condo one time. It's probably 2006. It was a condo conversion. So it was apartment building and then they converted it to condos, but it was actually in a good area. And so I bought that, and I think I was losing like $400 a month on that place because I was like, Phoenix is actually doing well. It's 2006, and I'm thinking it's going to go up in value this much money, and it never did. It almost stayed the
Yeah.
same. So I don't. That was a mistake. I don't focus and bank on appreciation anymore like that. Helping people is actually putting people in affordable housing. You should see their face when you actually do it. So it's just helping people. I think once you actually have a refrigerator full of food and big screen TV, you're pretty content. And if you can go out for a burger that weekend, I mean, life is actually pretty good. But when you go and extend yourself and sacrifice to actually help other people and you see the gratitude of humanity, I think that's what I want to be remembered for.